Hi, this is Postdoc Chronicles week number 138, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's 138. So yeah, it's very late, or should I say early here in the morning. It's almost 5 a.m. because I had to join this meeting in the Philippines, which is 9 a.m. Philippine time, and again South Africa is 6 hours behind. So that meeting for me started at 3 a.m. and it's almost 5 a.m. Yeah, it's regarding this grant that that I applied for, and then those that got accepted, we were briefed on the contracts and the conditions and all these things. But yeah, I'm really sleepy now, so it's gonna be a very quick post of Chronicles. But of course, even though we're sleepy, we shouldn't forget to talk about the game that I'm gonna feature. I hope you can see it. It's Dead Cells. They have this new update, Whack-A-Mole update, which just came out last week. I'm very surprised that I like looked back at the previous Postal Chronicles that I did, and I'm so surprised that I did not feature this yet, because this is actually one of my top 5 favorite roguelikes of all time. Roguelikes, so that includes Enter the Gungeon, Binding of Isaac, Slay the Spire, and Hades. And yeah, this amazing. This like among all those roguelikes, this is a platformer, and then very similar to something like Metroid, or Castlevania. It's a Metroidvania, but it's roguelike, so the map is randomized every time. The weapons that you get, the starting weapons, and the different weapons that you get as you go along, and then the power-ups are different every time, which is very cool. And then the nice thing is the layout is randomized, but then it's always the same biome. The first floor is the same biome, and then afterwards, you if you find the exit, usually you are given the choice of going to two different biomes. For example, the first one, you can go to the toxic sewer, which is underground with a lot of poison, or I believe it's the promenade of the condemned is what it's called. It's like a top eye tower, so there are a lot of instances that you can fall. So it's really very good. The boss fights are very nice. It's very brutal. It's very insane. I haven't beaten the final boss yet before I even open up the game, because I heard there are like these things called 1 BC, 2 BC. I haven't reached those yet. I'm still in the very initial part. But yeah, you get weapons. They have these colored tiers, and then you can go for like the red one, which is attack base, or the green one, which is like more defensive. You have a lot more defense, a lot more health, and then the purple or the violet one, which is a little bit tactical. I also love that every run, it really encourages you to do it again, because every one you collect these cells, and then you buy these cells to unlock new weapons, new costumes, new power ups, new mutations, basically, some buffs that you can use in the succeeding mission. So basically, like for example, you bought a new axe, for example, then in the next run you get to use that axe will become part of the pool of the randomized weapon that you are able to use. But yeah, check it out. One of my favorite games, definitely, on the Nintendo Switch, Dead Cells. And it's very helpful if you have on my Nintendo Switch, modified D-pad on the left Joy-Con. So it's very nice, Dead Cells. But anyway, yeah, very quick on the Postdoc Chronicles. So last week I mentioned we're now on the draft stage for the MUED, so I'm still waiting. Currently, it's with Christoph, my collaborator from Poland. So I have a collaborator from Poland, from Spain, from Germany, like I mentioned last time. I'll wait for their comments, and then hopefully we can polish it further. Then hopefully maybe next month, or maybe June, we can submit it. And then yeah, for the MUED paper. And then last time also for the PMSSM scan, I mentioned, I presented the last week. I told them where we stood. And the nice thing is that I was actually able to solve the problem, because in my last Postdoc Chronicles, I mentioned that like in the merging, we were having a problems, and then it turns out that we just have to, like, I asked Brian, that like one of our heads. His suggestion was that maybe in the metadata, yes, the merging of the events were fine, but then, like, when you run Rivet on it, or root, or some other, or simple analysis, all these plotting tools, they're fine. But in the same step, maybe there's something peculiar about the same step, such that it looks at the metadata, and then maybe there's still a remnant of the fact that I am combining different subprocesses. And he was right, because when I was producing subprocesses, the thing is, the numbering of the different subprocess, for example, Chargino, or a Neutralino pair, they have I gave them different 3-digit numbers, and so these 3-digit numbers should disappear in the final merge event. So what I did was I had to overhaul my entire setup, such that in my job option I hid, so in the first layer of the folder, the number of the subprocess, the 3-digit number, should still be there. Otherwise my setup will not work. I will not know, basically Pythia and Madcraft will not know which events to generate. So it's still there, but then I hid it a folder below. I have a new folder that basically is the same for everything else, for all the subprocess, and then even below that is the location of the job option. I tried that, and then fortunately it works. So now the metadata for all of them is the same, even though I know that they come from different processes, and so they merge just fine. And so we're now I submitted it again, and then we're now waiting for a feedback from the guys that will do the same step basically. And of course, for my QT, so I'm now doing the QT note. We were able to meet with the Pythia authors last week. We had the MCI meeting with the authors, and we were able to verify that indeed in Dire and in the Vincia, we don't have the I believe I also mentioned this in the last Postdoc Chronicles, we still don't have the automated uncertainty features when you turn on, the moment you turn on Vincia, or the moment you turn on Dire. So of course we know that these how do you say this, these features are upcoming, okay? Because in the default you do have this, you are able to automate variations if you adjust, I don't know, different factorization scale and all these things. Then you want, for if you have this particular value of the factorization scale, what will happen to your distribution. If you have this other value, what will happen to the distribution. And so Pythia actually automate this only in the default. Once you turn on the Dire, once you turn on the Vincia, you lose that automated capability. So the automation for these new shower modes will come in the future. So unfortunately, the last part of my QT is not doable, because it says there I have to study those uncertainty options, but it turns out the options aren't there. In fact, when I was starting the QT, I was under the impression that when they wrote that QT, I thought that it is something that's doable. Like, I assumed that, okay, they asked me to do it, it must be there, because I have to validate it and so on. So I initially assumed that it's already there, but then it turns out that it wasn't even there. So the Dire and Vincia, and so now I'm just finishing the QT note. I show this to Giancarlo hopefully this week, and then wait for his feedback, and then the review process for my QT sign off. But anyway, guys, like I said, I'm gonna sleep up after this. I'm gonna upload this very quickly and then sleep. But anyway, guys, this has been Postdoc Chronicles week number 138. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.